People around here trust the shepherds. Jamie, Adam, and the other Jamie. They always have. The sheep trust them too. Gather round. I'll throw another log on the fire. Turn it up just a touch, cause another episode of the BHHcast is starting now.
You've heard the intro. You're hearing my voice. That means the episode has begun. This is the BHHcast. Jamie Bendel, Jamie Hernan.
This one's going to be good. NASA, we have liftoff. This is the big one. How do you feel about that, Hernan? Right up in there.
All right, so this is a special episode. We have gathered together the hosts of a variety of different podcasts. And what we've discovered is we try to become better hosts by, I don't want to say scouting the competition, but checking out what else is out there.
That's right.
There's something like 1 million podcasts created every day. Not all of them survive.
Nope.
These are some of the ones that we find a little bit interesting. We have brought them here to focus on our favorite part of the show, which is the lightning round.
We're bringing a bunch of people who have drinking.
They drink.
They drink.
They do podcast.
Right now they're drinking and doing our
Now
podcast.
They're doing our lightning round and doing our podcast. So stick around, sheep. This is a content-rich episode all about
lightning round.
All right, sheep. Another very special lightning round only podcast. We have chosen some of the more interesting podcasts thematically organized around hosts who consume alcoholic beverages while recording their podcasts. An interesting subject matter.
It is indeed. We've got the all-stars for those kind of hosts.
Our guest this segment is the host of the Girls Beers Sports podcast. Carrie, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me, y'all. Appreciate being on.
Yeah.
So, Carrie, are you drinking while appearing on our show?
I'm not. I am sorry. Hey, if y'all really want me to, my beer fridge is literally like an arm's reach. I can get some.
Nope.
Don't fake it.
Stop.
Don't fake it.
You know, sometimes, occasionally, I gotta take a break, and usually it's on Tuesdays.
Good call. Good call. The liver needs some help.
In fairness, none of the hosts that we have contacted about being on this special episode promised to be drinking while guesting.
None of them did. Right.
Most asked, was there any prep we needed to do?
Yes.
But I don't think they were talking about drinking.
No, they might have been. Who did the pre-stuff?
Who did the pre-stuff?
Yeah, who did the pre-setup with these guys?
Oh, that would be me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why no one's been drinking with us. Thank you for ruining that whole thing.
All right. So, Carrie, what was the genesis of your podcast? How did it come to be?
So, I created this thing on the back of two things that I really love: sports and beer, honestly. And I wanted to come at it from a woman's perspective. I use the term girls. That's all kind of subjective to me, but I wanted to make it something that was accessible to people who were really into sports and also people who didn't know a lot about sports. So that's kind of where my picking my co-host dynamic came about. Because my co-host Lee, who totally spaced and forgot to be on the show yesterday after 271 episodes.
Come on, Lee.
What?
Come on.
She knows a lot about sports. In fact, she works in athletics at Transy University, and she's coached softball. She played college softball. So her and I know a lot about sports. And our friend Lauren, we record at her house. She's kind of like a ghost sports ball person. But over the years and episodes that we've been doing this, she tends to ask questions that Lee and I are like, we never would have thought about that. Like, that's not a question that we would have asked. And
About the sport?
We have a college football pick'em every season in the fall. Mm-hmm. And Lauren solely picks based on mascot logic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How's she doing with that strategy?
She won 1 year.
Doesn't that just crush you when people do that? It's like, I know so much about it. And she comes in and drops the mascot thing, and you're like, I hate you for getting it all right.
Yeah, I think you need to start recording at Lee's house, though, just in case she forgets. You just knock on the door.
Yeah, she's been busy with winding down spring sports at Transy. So
priorities.
Lightning round is very easy. It is deep questions and short answers. All right, so we'll do a practice one.
Okay.
Just to kind of get the swing of things. Practice question is clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
All right, so starting
Well
with
done. Good choice.
starting with Jamie.
What is the plural of platypus?
Platypi.
I think that's right. Greatest athlete of all time.
Joe Montana.
Whoa.
Will Carmelo Anthony ever win an NBA championship?
No.
The Joe Montana answer really makes you think, okay,
Makes you think.
yeah, that's not an obvious answer. There's a lot of that was a quick answer. There's a lot of depth.
She
to
had that
answer.
one ready to go.
Yeah, that was good. All right, a panda and a polar bear are at a Cubs game. Which one is more likely to heckle the opposing team?
Oh, it's gotta be the panda. Pandas act like they're all nice and stuff, but they're all about the trash talking. I mean, the name panda, like trash, they're related to raccoons, right? Trash panda, raccoons are jerks, pandas are jerks. That's my logic.
It's good logic, actually. It's pretty
I don't
impressive.
even think they should have let the panda into the Cubs game.
It's not about you.
Okay.
So you can go to the Super Bowl, you can go to an NBA final, you can go to the Stanley Cup, 7th game of the NBA finals, 7th game of the World Series, or 7th game of the Stanley Cup. Which ticket do you go to? You have to pick one.
7th game of the Stanley Cup, definitely.
Like that pick.
Hockey fan, and that's one of those. That's one of those playoffs that's really kind of. I mean, you can get into it even if you're not a hockey fan every year. And I'm sorry, but the Stanley Cup trophy is the best trophy in all of sports. You can drink beer out of it. You can eat cereal out of it. You can baptize your kid in it. I mean, there's no other trophy in sports. The claret jug comes close because you can at least drink out of it, but you can't baptize your kid in the claret jug.
No.
I mean, come on. It's versatile. It's awesome. Stanley Cup is the best trophy, so I'd love to see it hoisted in person.
Very cool.
Side note about eating cereal out of things.
Yes.
I had Peeps cereal today out of a Solo cup.
Oh, interesting.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peep cereal, it turns out, is one of our hosts' favorite cereals.
Team Peeps.
We didn't even know it existed until about 5 minutes ago. So, yeah.
Gave us a box of Peeps. Okay, you can have anyone fictional as an imaginary friend. Who do you choose and why?
Oh, this is a good question. You know what? I'm just going to go with the first fictional character that's popped into my head, and that's Fox Mulder, because I am an X-Files junkie from way back. And now we got this UFO thing going on. So I definitely want to hang out with Fox Mulder, right?
Well done.
On board. Excellent.
All right, which animal would make the best pitcher in softball?
See, it'd have to be something with opposable thumbs. So I'm going with a gorilla, because I think the gorilla could still get that fast pitch velocity going.
I like that.
Best sports snack and beverage.
Oh, well, it's got to be beer is the best beverage, period.
call.
That's
Or snack.
across the board, any beers. And I would honestly say, for my money, wings, even though they're starting to get hard to come by and kind of expensive.
Yeah, wings. Okay, quality.
But do you go boneless wings?
I don't go nugs.
That's not
Okay.
even a thing.
All right, and so then do you go flats in drums or drums only?
Now, see, I'm a flats person, but my husband likes the drums, so we tend to get a mixed bag.
And are you buffalo or are
I'm
you kind
team
of
flats.
a rub?
I'm drums.
Now, again, my husband has become a snob wing over the years, and he's all about the dry rub smoke wings. I'm kind of like, that sweet barbecue or teriyaki, but, regular buffalo sauces go with me too.
Okay, Bendel.
Best stadium tailgate.
Oh, so I've been to a bunch of stadium tailgates in the SEC since we are in Lexington and we're Kentucky football fans. I'm going to say LSU. Down there in Baton Rouge, and it's probably because we were Kentucky fans and they knew that they were going to kick our butts, but every single person down there invited us in, gave us drinks and food, and yelled Tiger Bait at us and sent us on our way. So I'm going Baton Rouge.
That is a correct answer. I have had that same experience. I've never had so much gumbo, and you cannot walk past some. They take it as an offense if you walk by and don't try their food. And it's all, and they'll give you beer. There was not a bottle of water within 10 miles of that place. I was extraordinarily dehydrated.
There you go. So as a Kentucky fan, Who's better, Dan Edsel or Michael Jordan?
Well, I mean, Michael Jordan is obviously the all-around superior player, but
Okay.
man, Dan Issel for the free throw wins.
You people from Kentucky, it's so great how much you love that guy.
All right, Kentucky Derby question. If someone like myself maybe picked Mandaloun to win the Kentucky Derby this year, and Mandaloun finished in second, and then the first place horse gets booted because of allegations of drugs, shouldn't I get my payout?
You probably should, but man, that would talk
Such a
about
cluster.
destroying a gambling industry, because if they pay you your $5 out, they got to pay the $5 million winners out too. So yeah, that's probably not gonna happen.
Did you see how she assumed that I was a low value bidder? Like she could
Correctly.
tell. Yeah,
She correctly assumed.
$5.
she was like, "Sir, we don't take coins." No.
Exactly. We don't take pennies anymore.
So, where do people find you? Where do they find the podcast?
Outside of Lexington, Kentucky.
We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Amazon. We're everywhere good podcasts are free. And if you would like to interact with me on Twitter, which can sometimes be fun, especially in the fall when I'm drinking and watching football, that's at GRLS Beer Sports.
All right, that sounds great. Hey, one last one for you. We'll kind of call this our bonus question. Keeneland or Churchill Downs?
Oh, Keeneland all the way.
Good.
All right. If the band was going to run the Kentucky Derby, who wins? Mick? Keith? Right?
I'm going to say Mick, because Keith just doesn't care. Keith's
No.
going to be stopping along the way, getting drinks from people.
Checking stuff out along the way.
They're literally going to open the gates, and they're like, "Where's Keith?"
He's a mutter.
He's like,
Keith is a
he's
mutter.
like, I'm really good here. I'm like, let's just
Why are you
enjoy the
running?
gate for a little while.
Yeah.
But I think Mick is probably wearing the hat.
The problem is Mick isn't going to run forward. He's going to run side to side, and then side to side,
Yeah.
and then side to side, and then side to
He'll
side.
still beat him.
All right. We appreciate it, Carrie. Thank you so much.
We're gonna, yeah. And I encourage all our sheep to head over and check out the Girls Beer Sports podcast. It's gonna be quality. Lee sometimes doesn't show up though. Just a quick warning, sheep.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Carrie.
Thanks, you guys. See
Take
ya.
care. Have a good
Take
night.
care.
All right. That was Carrie, host of the Girls Beer Sports podcast. Check it out.
Yep.
First of all, I just want to say, and I do think it's pertinent relative to Carrie, is I'm not a fan of the denigration of women who are knowledgeable about sports.
Oh, 100%.
Of course not.
I think it's such a stereotypical and cliched way to approach women who have an interest in sports.
That's right. Any sports bar in the world,
Yeah.
they could be having that conversation
Right?
with anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. We got lots of quick hitting speed round,
Lightning round podcast.
It's happening. Taka.
All right, Sheep, we are back. Brand new guests for this segment here on the Lightning Round episode of the podcast. Jamie, and Adam. We are joined this segment by David and Lauren. They are hosts of the Drunk Mormon podcast, and it is the podcast where they call out Mormons who they find drunk in the world.
I don't think that's what they do.
Oh, that's not the. That's
That's not
the,
what they do. No,
okay,
that's
it's a
not what
different.
they do.
No,
at
that's
all, but-
close.
yeah.
That's probably better than what
like
we
that
do.
pitch?
We should have thought of that.
Literally just sit in Salt Lake and say, "There's one.
There's one.
Yeah.
There's one."
Brand new podcast idea: Busted Drunk Mormons.
She's wearing a CTR ring and she's got a beer in her head.
Why do they even need beer? It's just Mormons at Starbucks.
That's right.
It's oh, you guys are busted.
So Lauren is
Yeah.
taking a break
Okay.
from work, so she has an excuse to not be drinking. But David, you don't look like you've been drinking.
I have been drinking. I have a San Pellegrino, and I drank a third of it and refilled it with tequila.
Oh, good boy.
Okay, it's a good
Atta
sneaky.
boy.
Class.
Replacing
Yeah.
clear with clear.
Yeah, that's the soccer dad. No, it's just a San Pellegrino.
I'm not gonna lie. There are times when after we play so the three of us also, when we're not hosting this,
The greatest podcast of all time. Yeah.
we play over 40 men's basketball.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, and there are times when after the game, I will take a solo cup. First two lines on the bottom of the solo cup go with tequila.
I know you do.
Rest of the glass, water.
Yeah. You're not afraid if it's clear
Not
liquor.
afraid.
Yeah.
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 Basically like liquid Advil.
It's your after game. I think it helps with the soreness.
Numbs
Why
it
do you
down.
need to add the water though?
What's that?
Why do you need to add the water
Because
though?
I'm compassionate.
Oh, you
Yeah.
want, you want to hydrate?
And there's been times when you haven't added the water, and it gets a little
No, that's always water.
crazy.
Add
Yeah.
water.
No, I've seen the cup.
Always add water.
Okay.
You don't
Anyhow,
What are you?
what are you busting me? Are you watching me
Yeah.
now?
What do you think? I'm some
What
sort
are you, a
of
narc?
drunk Mormon?
We
Yeah,
have
okay.
guests.
All right, we do have.
You gonna
guests,
report me
and
to the
we're
elders?
being rude to the guests.
Come on.
All right.
Okay, well, I'm quite enjoying the one person in the room dropping as many Mormon keywords that they know.
Hey!
Yeah.
You like that? I've been working on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm a pro.
No, it's great.
Wait till you hear my lightning round question.
We are doing lightning round. All right. So overview of the podcast. Have we missed the mark?
A little bit. It's more we're the podcast where we get drunk and talk about people who never get drunk.
The Mormons.
Excellent.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so I'm raised Mormon, left the church. Lauren has never been Mormon a day in her life. So every episode of our show, we make a different cocktail or mixed drink, and I try and explain to her another aspect of the culture and belief system that I grew up in.
So great.
And it's wild.
So you're now kind of, deep into the show. Any shadowy figures showing up at your door? Is this why you've moved? Witness protection?
We've been surprised by how not controversial things have been.
Oh.
I keep saying if we get a cease and desist letter from the church, we know like we've made it.
That's right.
Right.
That's the
That's
win.
our goal.
So we're just gonna have to keep making episodes until that happens. And we thought it would be faster, and we weren't prepared for the commitment that we are now in. But
I would think
Here
that
we
if
are.
you got a letter from the church, it would be a cease and believe letter.
Cease
I
and
think they
believe
call it
that
a
we're
I
doubt
don't
your
know.
doubts.
I've never been Mormon. I don't know what they do.
I learned recently in a different context that they claim souls post-death.
Yeah, the baptism
Yes,
of the dead.
That's a very reductionist way of looking at it, but also not particularly incorrect.
Bendel is very afraid of that situation. He's looking for like a special liner for his coffin that
No,
will
I think
protect
it's
him.
it's the weirdest. And again, I don't mean that in a pejorative sense.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it's,
who could take weirdest in a pejorative sense?
Yeah, that sounds so positive.
you could let me finish what my thought was instead
Enjoy
of jumping
it.
in and whatever, trying to be best friends with our guests as you do every episode.
we got a link.
These two always bickering.
But it just seems like a weird way to grow the religion. To be like,
Well, you got to come
If
at
you're
it from all
dead, you
angles.
can't say no.
They get rid of birth control, so everybody's having lots of kids. So that's one entrance to growing the kingdom. And then the other way is to go and collect all of the people on the other end of the candle.
It does seem like cooking the books, though, a little bit.
Cooking the books.
2 sets of books.
Okay, well, Mormons did settle Las Vegas, so I don't know that that's outside the wheelhouse.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, interesting. All right, so we are going to do lightning round. Lightning round are deep questions with brief answers.
Okay.
We're going to do a practice one just to kind of get you hip to the concept. The first lightning round question is clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
All right, starting with Jamie.
All right, so according to the official website, or what looked like the official website of the Mormon Church, the religion teaches that pets may be resurrected. So Jamie Bendel has 2 dogs. One is named Good Dog and one is named Bad Dog. Could you clarify whether, according to Mormon principles, that Jamie can arrange for Good Dog to be resurrected, but not Bad Dog?
Ooh, that's not possible because all animals are innocent, so they would both be resurrected.
Not Bad Dog. I think Bad Dog's innocent,
Yeah,
but
Jamie
Bendel
hates
would
that
argue.
bad dog. But I agree with you,
I
David.
was gonna say I'm pretty sure to be resurrected, somebody has to yell out their name. So just yell "good dog," not "bad dog."
Good dog, good dog, good dog.
No, that's not how you resurrect animals. That's how you resurrect your wife.
Oh
Oh.
my bad. Resurrect
By
your
calling
dog,
her
but
good
not your
dog?
wife.
Okay, so hold on a second. Wait a minute.
First question into the speed
stop.
round. and
Okay,
you're already waiting
no.
with it.
So I have a technical question.
Okay.
So hypothetically, if I understand correctly, if I am on my deathbed and I call out my wife's name, she is resurrected. I am dead. I get eternity to myself?
No. So it's not when you're on your deathbed. It is after the whole everybody's dead. Jesus comes back. We fight a 1,000-year war with the army of Satan. And then maybe we're resurrected for the war. That would make a little more sense.
Mm.
That does
Calling
make
in the
more
troops.
sense.
Yeah.
You're literally calling
Yeah.
in the troops.
Makes sense.
But then,
Yeah.
you shout out your wife's name and then she rises from her grave to join you. And if you have more than one wife, then I guess you pick.
Uh-oh.
And at that point, does she say, "Did you bring me back just to fight in this war?"
She does. She gives you a hard look, like, I don't want to come back just to fight in this war.
I've been enjoying the afterlife.
Yeah.
And you brought me back to fight a 1,000-year war against Satan?
Thanks for nothing, jerk. Which is better, heaven or the celestial kingdom?
They're the same thing.
Okay.
Well, the celestial kingdom is the top level of heaven, if we're going to get precise.
Oh, so it's kind of like the VIP lounge of heaven?
Yeah, it's like the diamond level of doTERRA pyramid scheme.
Ooh, nice.
If you could instantly become an expert in something, what would it be?
Hedge funds, easy.
All right. The All Dogs Go to Heaven movie. Underrated or overrated, and why?
Man, it's underrated, but also it's like very unsettling to me.
I'm sorry.
Because-
Sorry, I brought it up.
It's just the underground with the giant gator sequence as a child just always made me feel particularly uncomfortable.
That's fair.
But it does line up with Mormons believing that all dogs do go to heaven.
The golden plates, Egyptian hieroglyphics or gibberish?
It's actually, this is my opinion. Officially, it's Reformed Egyptian. That's the official answer,
Okay.
which isn't hieroglyphics. It's also not a recognized language to any scholarly people anywhere. But if you want to dissect it, you'll see a lot of influences of lots of different glyphs, including Mayan, which for some people reinforces the credulity of it being a language written by ancient Mesoamerican people.
Very interesting, David. I didn't know any of that.
If you could only eat one dessert for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, one of those stupid nutritional cookie things. I'm assuming this is all I'm eating, so I need to get as many nutrients out of the dessert.
No,
as I
dessert
can.
only. You can have, you're eating whatever you want.
Oh, it's
but
only, this is your
only
only
dessert.
you're limited to this dessert. It's not your only food choice.
The boysenberry cronuts from Knott's Berry Farm.
Sounds good.
Oh, from
They're very good. They're
from
very
the Knott
good.
family. All right. The elk is the official state animal of Utah.
Is it?
I believe so. For the purposes of this question, the elk is the official
elk.
state animal of Utah. If the elk was performing Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On at Bad Dog's funeral, would Jamie Bendel be in attendance?
I mean, yes.
Well said, David.
You can't miss a performance like that.
That's
yeah,
true.
I have to side with Lauren.
Well done. So, northern Utah with the skiing or southern Utah with the arches?
Southern Utah. But that's because I can't ski.
If you could see one movie again for the first time, what would it be and why?
The movie that they show in the church when you go through the endowment ceremony, because I haven't seen it yet, and I want to wear the funny clothes and see it for the first time.
Lauren started off in her car, and now
She's running a marathon.
Yeah, she
which
does
I think is cool.
I think she's running away from her coworkers.
Yeah. Don't let them catch you, Lauren. Don't let them catch you.
I'm trying.
All right, when recording the podcast, what's your drink of choice?
Ooh. Well, it's different every week, but now that we do it over Zoom, we take turns doing the different one, and the other people can just do what's easy.
What was your drink last
Honestly, Diet Coke and vodka.
show? Okay.
Do you know, I mean, this is crazy, but do you know that some people put water in their vodka?
That's crazy.
Thank you.
Or their
Crazy.
tequila, you mean?
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
I feel like anytime you defend your consumption, it sounds like you have a problem.
I think what you're supposed to put frozen water in your tequila. Is it tequila?
It is
Vodka.
tequila.
Yeah,
He's talking
tequila.
about,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you think that it's possible that the church is aware of the podcast and rather than confront you directly, has just altered your historical family records?
No. Well, I don't think historical family records have been altered, but there have been a couple times where we talk about something on the show and then within a month it changes and we wonder, though we do know Netflix knows about the show.
Whoa.
All right.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
That's almost
Tell
more
us-
important.
Tell
really.
us more.
Indeed.
Tell us more.
Well, when the documentary series came out on Netflix, Murder Among the Mormons,
Mhm.
we threw ourselves a little watch party with us and our listeners because it seemed like we had done an episode on that story, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity to see if technology could help us hang out virtually. And one of the co-directors of the show showed up in our watch party chat and ended up telling us it's because Netflix publicist told him he should go.
Oh, wow. Look at you guys.
nice.
Big time.
I know.
That's awesome.
The church is listening, though.
The church is probably listening.
That's the side message
And
there, though.
does that mean now that we're being listened to?
Yeah.
All right. So what's the biggest misconception when people talk about Mormonism that is a kind of pernicious cliche?
That it is true.
That felt like a lightning round question.
That was good.
That felt like a random
Well done, sir.
lightning round question. It sounds like you're doing a poor job of convincing Lauren to join the church.
Yes.
That's not the point of it. She's already convinced herself.
I'm in it to win it at this point.
At one time, we reached out to our listeners to be like, hey, if anyone has like a temple recommend they don't need anymore, we'll buy it. We'll see if we can get Lauren in the temple. Someone mailed us one
Whoa.
for free.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But we weren't able to use it before it expired.
Oh,
I chickened out. I got too scared.
That would have been so cool.
It would have.
I was
Also,
like, what if they recognize me from my audio podcast? Like,
So where will people find you online? Where do they find the podcast?
we're everywhere. We're on all the, as far as I know.
Just like
Like
the
the
church.
Yeah, I know, right? Mormons, the Visa card, and us. We're everywhere you want to be. And we're also on Twitter, but we don't ever tweet. And we're also on Instagram, which is our prettiest and most updated social media platform.
All right. We'll
Nice.
check them out on Instagram. It's
At
what-
Drunk Mormon Pod.
Drunk Mormon Pod.
Yeah, podcast was too long.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus, it could be
that's
just
if
a
you're drunk.
little on the nose.
a little on the nose. So we wanted
Yeah.
to make it sound like we were some sort of weird religious sci-fi cult.
The pod.
So Drunk Mormon
which we
Pod.
kind of are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys know each other?
We work together in reality television.
Oh,
Oh.
The
All right.
misconception of the show is that we were really friends before we started recording this.
We appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. And listen, I don't know at this point, now that we've had our chat, whether you want the weight of the church coming down on you, or you want to kind of continue to exist.
I think it's a win-win either way. If the weight of the church comes down on them, it's still a win.
Well,
we never
I mean,
shy away from a challenge.
we never shy from a challenge. And honestly, the worst that they can do to us, besides suing us for a lot of money, would be to excommunicate me, because I'm technically still on record. And it does cross our mind that maybe that would be a fun episode.
The excommunication of
Oh, yeah.
David.
My excommunication. My mother
Well-
would die, but that's okay.
Given there are 3 lawyers who host the podcast, this is an appropriate time to remember that all guests of the podcast are independent contractors. Any opinions expressed do not reflect any of the opinions of the podcast.
Indeed.
All right, thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
See you guys.
Head on over, listen to the
Thanks.
Drunk Mormon podcast. They're good people, and we're looking forward to hearing more about the interesting Mormon religion.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a lot to learn.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, that is the Drunk Mormon podcast. I'm going to suggest that if your familiarity with the Mormon religion is confined to seeing Book of Mormon at your favorite theater performance place, that you might want to check out this podcast instead and learn a little something more about a person who has lived it firsthand. David and Lauren, check them out. Drunk Mormon Pod on Insta. All right, welcome back to the podcast, Jamie, and Adam. We are in the midst of a special episode that is lightning round only, maybe lightning only predominantly.
Yeah, I would say.
We are focused on podcasts that have 2 things that are compelling about them. One is the content or the organizing principle around the podcast.
Right.
And second, the hosts are drinking
Yeah. And all-star hosts.
while doing the podcasts.
Right.
Our guests this segment are the hosts of the Drunk Guys Book Club, Mike, Nate, and Jimmy. Fellas, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Hello.
So were you drinkers first or readers first?
Well, Mike and I used to go to a bar a lot, and then we would occasionally talk about, hey, what are you reading? And so then we eventually, turned that into a podcast.
So what are you guys drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a triple IPA from Finback, which is in Queens, New York, and it is called 7 year. It's a 7-year anniversary IPA. It's a 10.1% IPA. Just something light for a Tuesday night, just
Nice.
Take the edge off.
Yeah.
Is it Tuesday? I don't know. I drink enough of these. I don't know.
Good boy.
This is an Imperial IPA by Other Half. It is called Chaperones. No idea why it's called that. It has nothing to do with what's in the beer, but it's a delicious beer.
I'm drinking Texas Rig from, where the shit is this from? Southern Pines Brewing Company. A friend of mine brought this back from one of the Carolinas, North Carolina, best Carolina. And it's got a fish on it. It's an IPA. It's a little bitter, but it's strong enough, and it's fine.
Excellent. Enjoy.
And Nate's a pro. Did you notice he was also hydrating there?
Yeah.
That's vodka.
That's it's a good tip. Good tip.
Yes.
All right. So, what is the highest gravity beer that you feel is appropriate to drink?
Like it's an alcohol ABV.
Yeah.
There is no upper limit.
We have had as high as 41% alcohol. Is
Seriously?
the strongest beer we've had. Yeah.
Wow. What does that
we
take?
had-
That doesn't
and
get
I
Does that
assume
sink the
vodka
Bismarck?
alcohol? I mean,
Yeah.
When they pour that, it comes in what, a thimble?
So that's like a bit of an asterisk kind of beer. That's from Brewdog, who they have made their name as stunt brewers, and they made a beer called Sink the Bismarck when they were having their public spat with a German brewery to make the world's strongest beer. So they had Sink the Bismarck, which is at one point was the strongest beer, and it's like a 41% alcohol IPA, and you treat it like a Scotch or a cognac. You pour it in a snifter, and it's still and it's chilled, and it's like liquid death.
it's a
That
sipper,
hurts.
though.
I swear, officer, I only had one beer.
One beer, right?
That's the strongest one we've had. That's like we've had a couple of things around at the 20% mark. I think depends. If you're looking for a stout, something in the mid-teens is not outrageous these days, and it also depends on the time of year. Like what's your season? Yeah.
I agree with that. All right, so we do lightning round, and lightning round is try to be deep questions, quick answers. We're going to do a practice one.
Should we each answer, or should we take turns?
No, everybody answers.
Okay.
You each get your own question to answer to the same question. All right, lightning round. We are going clockwise. First question is Jamie's.
All right, so one of the books that you reviewed on your show is 101 Dalmatians. All right. So if Pongo was able to go to heaven, would he find author Dodie Smith there? And this is based solely on your feelings towards her as a writer of that book.
No.
First 20 pages of the book are adorable, but then the rest of it really does not need to be there. So no, she's not in heaven as a writer.
I don't know if she deserves to go to hell, but I'm pretty sure she's there.
If you could change one event in history, what would you choose?
Oh boy. Do we want to be funny or smart?
Besides the Holocaust or including the Holocaust? I mean,
You know what? We're going to give you a standing answer of the Holocaust.
No.
And in addition to that, your answer would be
the invention of TikTok. Get rid of it.
I would let OJ's wife not find that guy's sunglasses or whatever happened that night. That was an exciting time.
Yeah.
I would stop the Grateful Dead.
All right, which book should never have been made a movie?
50 Shades of Grey.
Battlefield Earth.
I'll say the Bible.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
It'd be a very
don't mess
long
with the
movie.
source material.
Right.
That's
There we
true.
go.
That's true. I'm going to reinterpret what the author intended.
That's probably one that people don't say, I thought the movie was better than the book. All right, so you also covered The Gunslinger by Stephen King. So my question is, could an armed kangaroo outduel Roland of Gilead?
I don't think so, because they're known for their legs. They've got those weird hands. I don't know if they could fit that in a trigger.
Right, multiple sources of combat there.
Indeed.
I guess it depends on how far they are.
Within striking range.
Then it's anybody's ball game at that point.
Jimmy's our tower expert.
Okay.
Yes, I've read it once.
Of the books in the book club, which character in a book do you most resemble?
Who's the drunkest? Who's the biggest degenerate we read about?
What about the guy from
Charles
Confederacy of
Bukowski?
Dunces? The watchdog.
The watchdog.
Brew Radley.
Brew Radley.
I'm gonna say the judge from Blood Meridian because I'm also
Jesus.
bald
Oh, okay.
All right.
and I'm great at dancing.
If we stand on top of each other, we're almost as tall as the judge.
Protagonist or antagonist?
You can't have one without the other.
No, but
Otherwise,
if you were
it's just
choosing to be one, would you choose to
Oh,
be the
choosing to be one.
protagonist or antagonist?
Oh. Who's the protagonist?
It's your
Could
call.
be
If it's someone I hate, then antagonist.
I think most protagonists are fine and all, but the antagonists are just much more interesting characters usually. They just make them more interesting.
Solid.
All right. So 2 other subjects of your show were the Ichabod by J.K. Rowling and White Fang by Jack London. So if the White Fang and Ichabod had a cage match, how many rounds would the fight go on, and who is your money on?
How long are the rounds?
The rounds are 3 minutes long.
White Fang was a fucking beast, and the Ichabod sucked.
Okay.
Not only the book, but the character kind of did too.
Most overrated book that you've reviewed or that you've had on your book club?
Overrated?
Yeah.
War and Peace.
Not that good.
Great American novel or Great American album? If you created one or the other, would you rather be the creator of the Great American novel or the writer of the Great American novel or the musician behind the Great American album?
I'd rather be a musician.
I think we'd all actually probably pick that one.
So where would people find you? Where are they going to find the podcast?
Well, wherever fine podcasts are found, just look for the Drunk Guys Book Club podcast, Drunk Guys BC on Twitter, Drunk Guys Book Club at Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, well,
Goodreads, you know.
Yeah, Goodreads is where you can see what we're actually reading, which is kind of cool. That's kind of our whole shtick, is to
Right.
get people to read more books.
All right. Well, fellas, I appreciate it. This is Drunk Guys Book Club. If you are a reader and a drinker,
Head
I
on
encourage
over.
you to both read and drink. I am pro-reading, so
I'm pro drinking. So, all right, guys, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate having you, and it was fun. It was fun meeting you guys.
You too now. Thanks a lot.
Thank
guys.
you.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
All right, that is the Drunk Guys Book Club. Mike, Nate, and Jimmy, check them out. I'm pro-reading. Adam has identified himself as pro-drinking. Together, we make a heck of a Reese's Pieces
Indeed.
peanut butter cup. This is the podcast. We are going to be back with more lightning rounds before this episode ends. Don't go too far. Welcome back to the podcast. This is a lightning round focused show. We have multiple guests, multiple segments. We have a theme, though, that runs through all of them. Hosts who drink and content that is interesting. Our guest this segment is host of the Beard Owl podcast. Lauren, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for whatever this is going to be.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be an adventure.
I have waited all evening to talk to somebody who focused on the facial hair of men named Al.
Oh, yes, because that's 100% what we do. It's all about beards of men named Al.
Beard Al.
No. It's about beer and Weird Al. So.
Oh, interesting.
I knew that.
I gotta scrap all these
I know.
questions.
But it's audio.
We're just messing with
it's
you.
audio. Come on.
All this prep we
Trying
did
to
wrong.
play. All right.
What you drinking tonight?
Oh, well, I had a beer earlier. I'm drinking wine now because I'm trying to wind down my evening. But I had a great beer earlier. It was a, you know what? I actually have the can right here. Hold on. It was super good. It's a raspberry sour ale from Thin Man Brewery in Buffalo, New York called Minky Boodle. And I got it because
Boodle.
the name just makes me chuckle. It's called
Minky
Minky
Boodle.
Boodle.
Went to town riding on a pony. No, okay, anyhow.
Yeah. No, but the wine I have is it's a grocery store staple. It's the Yellowtail Shiraz. Yeah, I know. People often poo-poo the Australian table wines, but I like them.
Yeah.
That was a Monty Python line. People often poo-poo the Australian table
Yes.
wines.
Right.
Yes.
Which came first, your love of Weird Al or your love of drinking?
Oh, my love of Weird Al, because that happened when I was 12.
Nice.
Mm.
And did you hear him on the radio? Or is it more kind of a
Oh,
CDs?
well, no, I see I do the show with my brother John, and We discovered Weird Al when his Bad Hair Day album came out, and we just fell in love with it. We listened to it nonstop that summer. And then our dad said, "Hold on, kids." And he actually had got Weird Al's self-titled debut album from the Columbia Record Club over a decade before. And so he came out with the cassette tape and he said, "Oh, look at this." And we were like, "Oh my God." And that was it.
And you were off
We were off.
on the Weird Al adventure.
Yeah. And we've been off ever since. We've never really been on.
So when you turned 21, did your dad give you a 10-year-old beer?
Oh, no, but he should have. I'm actually going home I live in Florida and my family's all up in Pennsylvania, and I haven't seen them in over, like a year and a half. And I'm going up later on this month. And my dad I think he's got a beer that's been aged like 8 or 10 years that he's saving for when I'm up there. So it may be, like a decade and a half too late, but I'm getting it. My 10-year-old beer.
Nice.
There you go.
All right, so we do a lightning round on this podcast. It is deep questions, short answers. We're going to give you a practice round question just to get you kind of up to speed in how we do it. So are you ready for your practice round lightning question?
Sure, let's practice the lightning.
Practice the lightning round. Get ready to ride the lightning. Practice question is as follows. Clockwise or counterclockwise?
I usually clockwise.
All right.
Okay.
Great job. That was perfect.
Well done.
Clockwise, starting with Jamie.
All right. Can you trust Harvey the Wonder Hamster with a secret?
Yes, because he doesn't bite and he doesn't squeal. He just runs around on his hamster wheel. Yes.
Very nice. What's your favorite Weird Al song?
Everything you know is wrong.
Were you saying that to Adam?
Oh.
We often say the same thing to Adam.
That's not
No, that's the answer.
Yeah, that is the answer.
Oh, okay. I just
Bendel.
What's the worst job you ever had?
The worst job I ever had. I was a lifeguard at a public pool in Pennsylvania.
Oh, don't they call that the Coast Guard?
That's a
In
cut on
Stony
me.
Harbor, they call it the Coast Guard in Stony
Easy.
Harbor.
They're making fun of me
you're
right
going
now.
to the
It's-
Jersey
yeah.
Shore and going to see
Hey,
the
people,
lifeguards.
it's impolite to make inside jokes when the guests are here.
Okay.
Especially when they're aimed at me.
I'm a lifeguard on the beach, and I don't
Yeah,
want
enough.
to disclose
Enough
my
is enough.
voices.
All right. So who would win in a battle to the death? Harvey the Wonder Hamster or the radioactive hamster from a planet near Mars?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to go with Harvey the Wonder Hamster because if you've watched the Weird Al show, Harvey the Wonder Hamster can do many things. He's fast as lightning. I think he can manipulate time. And so I have a feeling he'd be able to do something to stop those radioactive hamsters from a planet near Mars, which I think is Earth.
After Weird Al, is there anyone who does parody songs well?
After Weird Al, there's some people out there now. There's that Randy Rainbow, who I'm not like super into, but people seem to like him. But in the vein of comedy music, I have to give it to Lonely Island, who aren't necessarily parody, but they're satire and pastiche music, which Weird Al also does. So I'd go with them.
I would also like to throw in the writers of the music in the Phineas and Ferb show.
Oh, that's funny because you're not answering the questions.
I just still
Question
wouldn't.
not to you, non-guest,
Yeah.
non-answer.
Yeah. We don't get to answer the questions. We're the hosts.
Lauren, can you tell them the Phineas and Ferb show?
No. Okay.
Also the Phineas and Ferb show.
No.
Oh,
knew
don't do
I
that.
liked Lauren.
Stop.
Thank you.
Inside baseball is
Stop.
what that is.
Yeah.
All right. Which band/artist, dead/alive, would you choose to play at your funeral?
Stevie Nicks.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right. So let's say, Lauren, that you're in the market for a new duck. Okay. How exactly would you assess whether it would steal your beer?
Hang on. Let me grab my duck.
What?
I have
Look
a
at
duck.
that.
I have a duck. And this duck, how would I assess whether or not a duck would want to steal my beer? The duck won't. I don't think any duck would. A goose might because geese are assholes.
That's true.
That's true.
That's
actually,
excellent.
That's actually
excellent.
proven.
And follow-up question.
No,
If
no,
you
there
got-
are no follow-up questions. I'm so sorry.
This is so important.
Nope,
No, I'm
nope,
so sorry.
Nope.
Jamie, go ahead.
No.
Let's give you.
Stop. Nope.
All right, go ahead, Adam.
Nope.
Go ahead. If you got a new duck, would you name him Bruce?
Yeah, this duck is actually named Bruce.
Of course.
Yes, indeed.
Of course it is.
Booyah.
Of course it is.
How'd you know that? That's so weird. Yeah.
All right, I want to just go back to one thing. I don't think it's fair to paint all individual gooses with the collective portraits of geese.
I hate all geese, and I don't care. Geese can come at me all they want. I'm very prejudiced against geese.
Yeah. Are you saying there's there's a subgroup of geese that are not gooses?
No, I'm saying individual gooses are fine. It's when geese are in a group.
Ooh, I actually completely disagree with that. I think that individual geese are worse than the group.
You think the geese dynamic is better?
I think if you want to measure the level of
one-on-one
a-hole
goose
that a goose does, it's significantly more when he's an individual than when he's in a group. The a-hole level goes dramatically through the roof.
Do geese see God?
No.
I don't
That's
think...
that's a palindrome. Also in a Weird Al song. So thank you.
Whoa, well played.
Wow.
I tell you what, this is fun. Okay, here we go. Best hair, Weird Al, Howard Stern.
Weird Al.
Okay.
Did any part of you think she was going to say Howard Stern?
There. Well, I mean, they both have nice hair.
I mean, it's lovely hair, but there's no question.
Weird Al has tighter ringlets, which I prefer.
Oh.
What was the name of your first car?
Elmo.
Oh.
Are you looking for what kind of car it was? Because
Nope.
the car was named Elmo. No, it was a 1993 Buick Skylark
Named Elmo?
named Elmo.
Nice.
Because it was red like Elmo
Oh.
from Sesame Street.
And you could tickle it? Yeah.
What's your brother's favorite Weird Al song?
Also, Everything You Know Is Wrong.
Oh.
We did a ranking list for our show. We have spreadsheets that are organized in what we call our weird algorithm. And
Is there anything better? So I have a pontoon boat, and its name is the Pontoon.
The Pun-toon?
The Pontoon. Because there's
That's cute.
nothing better than a pun.
right, like I played I used to. I had a mandolin.
Mm-hmm.
That I named Amanda Lynn.
Nice.
Amazing.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
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 A mandolin.
Pontoon boats are party boats that you bring your friends on, and it's interesting because I'm
yeah.
just now learning that Bendel has a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
Never knew that before.
No. Did I say that I had a pontoon named the Pontoon?
No, he
You
had a
did.
pontoon boat.
Yeah, I may have misspoke. It's the Shuntoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Wow.
so Lauren, where are people going to find your podcast?
We are on any podcatcher that you can find, and I realize that Beard Owl rolls off the tongue very nicely, but if you're typing it into, your Apple Podcasts, it's beer, like the drink, 'D, Owl. But then you can find us on all the socials at just Beard Owl Podcast, all one word, no punctuation. Instagram, also at Beard Owl Podcast, Facebook.com/Beard Owl Podcast. And yeah, that's the story. We're fun.
Not facial hair. No facial hair.
Not facial hair, beer and Weird Al.
Yeah.
The two best things in the world.
Beard and weird.
But you got to have that apostrophe.
Yeah, you got to have that apostrophe because it's beard.
Yeah.
Like not a beard, but we are beard, as if beard is an adjective.
Yeah, it's kind of
Nice.
beard.
It's beard.
Yeah.
It's beard. Get used to it.
Yeah, we're beard.
All right,
I'm
well,
used to it.
We're sorry that your brother couldn't be on, but we want all of our sheep, our listeners, to check out your show.
Go check it out.
Even if you're not familiar with Weird Al, they will give you a good tour of Weird Al. And
I will admit that there are plenty of times where I listen to a song and I think, I bet this would be a good Weird Al song.
yeah, where it was like this, he could parody the heck out of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of them, any song would be better if Weird Al did it.
All right. Well, enjoy what remains of your Yellowtail Shiraz.
Thank you.
Yes. And have a
Cheers.
Yep, and we'll send lots of sheep your way.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Appreciate it.
I love it.
See you, Lauren. All right, that was Lauren, host of the Beard Al podcast. I myself enjoy a humor-based lyric song or two, so check her out, BEER 'D Al podcast. More podcasts will return after this. Welcome back. This is Jamie, and Adam. Yeah, as you know, because you are knee-deep in it, this is a special episode where we are focusing on the lightning round predominantly, joined by the hosts of a variety of podcasts, which are oriented around a typically single subject, and in which the hosts drink while they record the podcast. Our guest this segment is the hosts, maybe just one of them, Drunken United Football Show with Sam and the sometimes not present other Sam.
Indeed.
Yes. So you got me. I'm Big Sam, and I'm a Everton supporter. So it's been a rough day for me today.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, my coach decided to divorce me for the younger, faster model. Went with the supermodel today. That was a nice kick in the nuts to deal with when we had just decided we were taking the month of June off.
Oh.
Yay! Big news. It just frustrating. It was so damn frustrating. But and of course my co-host who's not with me when Mr. Samuel Graham is a diehard Arsenal supporter, so he has been bothering me all day long and then comparing it all to himself, because that's what Arsenal fans do, is talk about themselves.
So it's been a day of drinking, probably, Sam.
You can't spell narcissist without Arsenal.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, we could say I've had a few so far today. Just needed to unwind at the end of work after and my phone blowing up with tweets all day, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a couple of beverages and just relax a little.
I like honestly the teams that break your heart every year, and as much as we do, as it hurts, I can tell you that I've always preferred the team that isn't easy to love, right? Because that's the real fan. The real fans love the teams that aren't easy to love. I
feel like it's an allegory about marriage.
Yeah.
Fell in love with the team in 2010. I used to play keeper. Obviously, Tim Howard played for the team, the United States national keeper. And that's what kind of brought me to the team. But by the end of that first season, Tim was, like 10th on the depth chart of players that I loved. And I was all in. There was no denying it. And they break my heart a lot, but I still love them. So.
That's good.
So sometimes people talk about a marriage analogy. We're like, oh, he outkicked his coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Are there similar soccer-based marriage analogies, relationship analogies? It'd be like, he really has a mid-level
marriage.
The most recent coach who we just lost, Ancelotti. Everybody was like, how did they score it? Carlo Ancelotti, he's won 3 European titles. How did little old mid-table Everton get him? So there's definitely outkick your coverage, and there's always some teams that do well that probably shouldn't be in the discussion. So like you have teams like Leicester City who 5 years ago won the league at 5,000 to 1 odds. The year before, they were the last place to stay in the league. So there's stories like that.
Yeah.
They come few and far between, but they're definitely there.
I don't think you should refer to your spouse as mid-table.
No. Almost never.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't go well.
Have you met his wife, Stephanie? She's total mid-table.
She is mid-table.
Yeah.
we call her Everton.
Yeah. Oh, that seems like a blow.
Yeah.
Touché. I would say for most of us, normally it's us saying we outkicked our coverage when it comes to our spouse.
That's what I'm saying.
Solid point.
Saying now it needs to be, you just convert out of it and you be like, oh, this guy he's completely offsides in this relationship.
Look at you trying so hard, though. It's good.
Yeah. We're going to go to lightning round. These are deep questions with short answers. So we're going to give you a practice just to kind of get you up to speed. Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
All right, starting with Jamie.
All right, so Sam, I wrote these questions before we met, and I realized what a nice guy you are and feel like we could be friends, so I apologize in advance for this question.
Got it.
So Chang the Elephant and Mr. Toffee arm wrestle, okay? Considering they are former mascots of Everton, would anyone even pay attention?
Oh, dang.
Probably not.
Oh, that's just not nice.
I feel so bad about that question.
But Speedo Mick might come in from the top rope and drop an elbow on both.
Nice. I like it.
Sam, which mystery or unsolved case would you like to know the truth about?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Oh, man, probably JFK.
Okay. Mr. Bennell?
What is one article of clothing that someone could wear that would make you walk out on a date with them?
Skorts.
Nice. All right.
Wear skirt or wear shorts. Don't wear both.
Don't wear both.
Right. Commit. All right. Which Premier League mascot would be the best drinking buddy?
Not Premier League, but it's currently in the championship. They just lost the promotion game. Cyril the Swan.
Oh.
It's no longer the guy who used to do it. It's worth looking up. He fought another mascot on the pitch and ripped off its head. He had federal crimes in England against him. Cyril the Swan. Look him up. I mean, a complete lunatic.
And you don't
that is
think
who I want to drink
swans
with.
are usually so violent.
No.
But that's impressive.
Cyril the Goose, maybe.
No, gooses are horrible, but
Yeah.
swans? No.
Yeah. And now is this Swansea?
Yeah, Swansea City.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Cyril the Swan. That's one worth looking up. It's very, very funny.
World Cup or Premier League?
Premier League. I normally when I watch the World Cup, I tend to find myself obviously rooting for my country, but then it's rooting for players on my team. So I would say Premier League over World Cup.
Nice.
Where would you like to be when you die?
Whiskey in hand, cigar in mouth, amongst friends, and let me just have a heart attack. So then I make it all about me, and they have to pay attention to me as I die.
Nice, yeah.
I like that. All right. If the Premier League was actually fought amongst the team's mascots in a cage fight to the death, assuming that everyone first gangs up together and takes out both Manchester team mascots, which team would win the league?
I'll go with us because we have an elephant, for Christ's sakes.
We got an elephant.
Yeah.
An elephant.
Who's gonna mess with
Elephants
an
are pretty
elephant?
powerful.
Yeah.
Sure they are.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like you'd say Leicester, but it's a fox, right? Like
No.
Sheffield, who got demoted, but it's a blade. Well, what the hell can you do with a blade if it's just laying on the ground, right? So
I'd take the elephant or the
Everton.
swan, the extremely violent swan. All right. Greatest soccer player or greatest football player of all time?
The natural answer is Pele. I would say, though, for his time period and what he did and what he meant, although he was a very, very troubled player, I would say Diego Maradona. And I don't think we appreciated him enough. I know when I was younger, I didn't appreciate him enough. And you look back at the things he did, he was pretty freaking special.
Yeah. Closing it out.
Closing it out. How bad are the other Jamie's questions? Awful or terrible?
All right, so follow-up question. How do you feel about the Scottish Premier League teams entering the English Premier League?
I think they get massacred if they came, because it would be, Rangers and Celtic would be the two that could get into the Premier League. A lot of them are older hand-me-downs from the Premier League, or it's young players that are about to be bought and go into the Premier League. But I will say I'm a very big fan of the third place team that finished this year in the Scottish Premier League, Hibernian. They are famously the team that all the degenerate characters in the movie Trainspotting support. So hence why I like them.
Interesting.
Nice.
If a bunch of alleged heroin junkies like them, I guess I got to like them too.
That's solid. Best alcohol to drink while watching soccer?
Ooh, I would say whiskey, but let's face it, we're watching footy in the morning and it's like 10 o'clock and like 1 o'clock here when we're watching matches on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I would say
Light.
just a beer. Just a beer is perfect.
Very good.
Because it's day drunk, man. You got to maintain. You don't want to be
Beer for
too
breakfast.
loopy.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
A cereal beer.
Who is your office crush?
From
You
the
remember
show
the
The Office?
You remember the part where his wife was?
Earlier just in the show?
Yeah. Remember we
That's
just
fine.
Yeah.
Anything
From the
else?
show
Deep
The Office.
questions, thin questions.
Are you talking
Do
about-
not like the show The Office. Do not watch it.
Whoa.
All right.
Interesting. All right.
Not
We
a
learned
fan.
something
those are
about
lightning
Sam there.
round. It doesn't matter.
No.
So Sam, where are people going to find your podcast?
All right. Give you the pitch. Drunker United Football Show, DU Football Show for short. DU Football Show on all the socials. Wherever you get podcasts, we are available. We are going to be adding a video element soon to the show, so we'll probably be doing something next season with YouTube as well. But Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, all that stuff, you can find us. We are very simply put two assholes that drink a lot and then cuss a lot and then cover the entire English Premier League. Think of it as a couple of friends sitting over a bar top and just talking shit the entire time. That's how we roll. We are two idiots that are 90% of the time wrong, that get really drunk and say fuck a lot. And we happen to talk about every game. That's our gig. That's what we do.
It's nice.
But that sounds right up our sheep's alley.
It is a compelling listen. That's why we had you on.
That's right. We will be sending sheep your way.
Excellent. I would love to have you. And hey, if you check us out, and anybody that checks us out, I run the Twitter. Shoot me a tweet. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you thought of the show, especially if you hated the show, because I really love hate mail. It actually makes me giggle.
All right. We appreciate it, Sam.
Big Sam, it's been a pleasure having you guys. Check out Drunken United Football Show. It's a good one.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, that was the host of Drunken United Football Show. And listen, the people have, I think, conflicted relationships with soccer. I feel like if you fall into that bucket, this is a show that moves you into actual soccer fandom. I know Atlanta's changed with Atlanta United. People have become soccer fans out of the woodwork. All right, until next time,
Sheep.
This is the podcast for Jamie, and Adam.
Get out of here, Sheep.
Taka taka.
Fire is getting low. This episode of the BHHcast is over. Time to go home now, sheep. Go on, back to where you came from. We'll call you back when it's time for another BHHcast. Taka taka.